stiff arms of crack out of Gregg Kirkpatrick right there. Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, beating a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, it's actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines. And you are listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz, the 32nd edition of Blewett's Blitz. I am Joe Blewett. 24 plays of Quincy Wilson today. This is a YouTube Jets X Factor subscriber exclusive, not putting it out on Twitter or an article form, just for time's sake, just because I have a decent amount to do. Doing Quincy Wilson today, also recording Hogan today, then finishing up some Gore film, and then Gore should be out in a couple of days as well. The quick update to the YouTube live show, which I'm legitimately excited for, is going to be, I don't know when you guys are going to listen to this, but hopefully it's a couple of days before that at least. I give you a couple of days to prepare. The YouTube live is going to be September 2nd at 6 p.m. September 2nd, 6 p.m. YouTube, it's going to be on Jets X Factor. So if you type in Jets X Factor, subscribe there. It's the Jet X logo. The call-in number is going to be 818-794-7004. Again, that's September 2nd, 6 p.m. Call-in is 818-794-7004. Really, really excited to talk to some people. Like I said, even if it's not over the phone, just hearing, or people typing to us and asking questions and interacting, I think would be pretty fun to do. And then if we get a good response, maybe it'll be a monthly thing or every other month, maybe not weekly. That depends. But at least maybe once a month type thing where we can do a call in instead of just doing strictly film, which is fine. I obviously like film. That's why I'm doing this, but maybe we should interact a little bit more. So if we get a good response, which I'm hoping we do, or at least a decent one, I'll look into doing a little bit more so then you guys get more content. So even just showing up in the chat room and saying a few things would show support. So I appreciate that. Also got a 5-star review or 5-star rating. So I appreciate that. Again, ratings and reviews help me grow, which leads to more content for you guys and better quality content in the future. JoeRB31 on Twitter posting a new restore today. The end of it, by the time you hear this, it's going to be already posted for probably a day or two. YouTube, Blewett's Blitz. If you're listening on the podcast app, if you're watching on YouTube, Blewett's Blitz on the podcast app. Again, go to either other side that you don't usually consume this content on, and either drop a rating, like, subscribe, whatever it may be. Again, with the weekly thing of the pick'ems, if you are interested in that, email me Blewett, BLEWETT at jetsxfactor.com, Jets JETS Factor.com, no spaces. And other than that, the Jets X shop, wearing the Jet X shirt, Sabo, Nani, and Blewett. That's pretty simple. So, like I said, this is a YouTube exclusive, JetX exclusive, in terms of it's not going to be on Twitter. It's not going to be anything like that. These reviews, and I said it with the last one I did, which was with Cager, these are pretty rough draft type reviews where, like, my strengths and weaknesses, I did them, but I didn't look into them as well. I did look into them as with as much detail, but I didn't see as many games. So, like, usually I'll weigh them and see. But for Quincy Wilson, I watched 2019. He didn't really play a ton of snaps in terms of, like, getting over 50% of snaps in any game. So I watched 2018, week 1, week 7, week 10, week 11, week 12, week 13, week 15, 24 years old, 6'2", 193. So good size and length. Second round pick, 46 overall in 2017. Strengths. This is what I listed: size, length, decent speed, athletic for size, loose hips, quick feet, ball skills, patient with feet committing deep, which I put question marks on. So, like, usually I put question marks on. I'm not like overly sold on those traits. So a couple of those had those question marks with loose hips, patient with feet committing deep, which I don't think is that necessarily true after I watched a little bit more. Acceleration, burst out of breaks, physical or physicality, will hit, get involved in run, definitely. Size to play man on tight end. I prefer him overall on bigger players. The more shifty guys are going to give him problems, but on bigger players, I think he's relatively successful. He had versatility, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but He will squeeze into the players on the sideline. His physicality and stacking and shedding wide receivers is good. When he's in press, he gets physical in the drive stem phase, which is good. Tackling, I think, is overall pretty good. He's a pretty hard hitter. And versatility, like I said, he did drop in hook zones as a corner, which is a little bit out of their normal responsibilities. He played man on tight ends, so he's almost like a corner safety hybrid. To me, that's how I think he'll be used a little bit more with the Jets. So they have a couple players who are pretty versatile. Like if the Jets wanted to, let's say hypothetically, which we're going to do, like I said, September 2nd, 6 p.m. Me and Kyle are going to do that. Our 53-man roster predictions. And again, I want to interact with you guys. That show, theoretically, the Jets could carry 7 corners. Because if you look at the roster right now, there's a decent amount of guys there who they've invested in. Obviously, you have the top couple guys in terms of Poole, who's not going to get cut or anything like that. You have Bless Austin, who's not going to get cut. You have Desir. You have Mollett, who's been like a spot starter. You have Hall, who's not going to get cut. And then you have Wilson, who they just traded for, so you doubt he's going to get cut. And then Hairston they traded for last year. So can they carry 7? They might. And then maybe they only carry 3 safeties because of that, because Wilson has some flexibility to play man on tight ends and play some safety roles. You also have a guy in Ashton Davis who could play a little bit of a corner role at times. So they have some flexibility with their secondary. Remember, they only carry 3 safeties, but some of their corners can play safety type roles. So it's going to be interesting to see how they really divvy up this roster. And it's a good thing, obviously, that Quincy Wilson has that flexibility. Now, in terms of his weaknesses, I said he's a little bit grabby, needs to get hands-on. Tends to get weight on heels, open hips too soon, inconsistent leverage, angles hips off and off coverage, punches thrown him off balance and press, eyes back to the quarterback early and off coverage, which I hate. False steps, it needs to crowd breaks and releases, jumping in coverage, mental lapses, needs more patient in feet at line. Again, these are relatively rough draft type stuff. I'm not saying I didn't just throw any effort into it at all. That's not the case at all. So I don't want to make it seem like that. But let's get into this film. Again, 24 plays. This is going to be pretty quick. I think with Hogan, I only have like 19 plays. Maybe I'm going to check really quick while I say that. Yeah, 19 plays. Wilson, I only have 24. So again, all these reviews, I know that people obviously rather see Quinn Williams than Darnold and stuff like that. So maybe next off season, I'll focus on the bigger name free agents and bigger. I'll always do all the draft class because I love watching the draft class, but maybe I'll focus on the bigger guys. But I like to break down guys who people have never seen before. That's what I enjoy doing. Also with Frank Gore coming, I've been watching some of his film. I'm going to finish it today. He's not done. Like he still has something in the tank. There's a reason he's still on a team is what I'll say about him. So I watched the games where he actually got run, where he wasn't running just face mask right into a back of the offensive lineman because it was 3rd and 1, and that's when they were running him. So let's look at the first play of Quincy Wilson. Pull it up. Wilson, bottom, cover 2, widens, reads 2. So yeah, and his role, like I said, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what he does. Again, you could play him a man on tight ends. You could play him in hook zones. I think he's a good cover 2 corner. I don't love his long speed for like cover 3 press or if he has to match a guy like cover 4, because he does open his hips up a little bit too early and he's a little bit too antsy and jumpy and off coverage. So I think playing him near the line of scrimmage, whether it be split out wide or in the box, I think that's the best way to play him. So I want to see him manned up on guys. I want to see him in cover 2. If he is going to play cover 3, I'm not sure if he's the best fit in a cover 3 type role, but cover 2 press, I think that's when they're going to sub him in, or to play man on tight ends. Again, if you have Quincy Wilson over the tight end or over the slot, and you have Marcus May and Ashton Davis and Poole all in that area, like they can all they're all versatile. Like the Jets don't have obviously the top end talent that some other teams have, but they have versatility. That is for sure on this team, which is pretty exciting to break down this defense this year. And I will be for hopefully 16 weeks as the NFL season goes on. So like I said, it's pretty interesting. Cover 2. Okay, so again, they're like this tray set where it's like trips with the tight end. You call it like Y trips. He's a little bit more pressed inside right here, just because the receiver is tighter. So he's reading the 1 to the 2, so he has to maintain outside leverage of the 1. But if the 1 is tight inside, you don't want to be too far outside. So he's condensed a little bit inside. The quarterback obviously drops back. He takes his exit angle. He widens, and you can see I like his eyes right here where he's widening to help out this. He's helping out the safety, obviously, because this is like, even though he doesn't get hands on, he's rerouting him because the receiver is going to widen out because he's widening out. And while he's doing that, he's reading the number 2 at the same time. The quarterback goes a different way, but it's a little play to start in terms of, okay, cover 2, widening out, reading his keys. He's pretty patient in underneath coverage with cover 2. At least in this play, they dump it off in a different way, but that's the first play. I don't remember doing that play, but like I said, these are all I didn't do anything with them. Just recorded them and said, okay, I'm going to talk about them on the show at least a little bit. But these are going to be more quick hitters. So next play, Wilson bottom opens beat. Okay, so he's obviously on the bottom. He's in open. So a few issues here is, one, he's in no man's land. I talk about it all the time. The ball is on the 31, and he's playing on like the 32 and a half, 33, and this guy's a little bit farther back, so he's 3 yards off. Again, either play off, take your read steps, or press him. And if you're going to press him, you could be aggressive with your press, or you could play in soft shoe. You can get your shuffle in before you get your hands on, or you could play aggressively and shoot your hands before you get your shuffle in. But this no man's coverage is not good. Obviously, the wide receiver stems at him immediately. He's opening up the gate. Now, opening up the gate, a good receiver, especially if they're going to take the outside, they're just going to blow right past you. They're not going to widen out, as you see on my mouse. They're just going to run right through that open hip, because again, you don't have the force to block them basically from working upfield like that, because now you're only working past arms, you're not working past hips. Our receiver stems at him, opens his hips. The receiver widens out a little bit, so I'm going to say this receiver does not look like he's the best receiver in the world to me, but it is okay. Quincy Wilson, again, doesn't get hands-on, opens up, is now running deep with the guy. He never really gets hands-on. The wide receiver breaks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a bad break. It's okay break. Works back to the ball, and it could have easily been a completion. Obviously, the quarterback got some pressure, but because he never gets hands-on, because he opens his gate, there's no contact on the route stem on the drive phase before the top of his route. So he has no contact point to feel that break coming. If he were to get into his hips a little bit more, he would feel this route break coming. He does a relatively good job selling deep. And he'd also, if he did have a hand on, he'd also slingshot himself back into position. He doesn't. The receiver could have been obviously a hit now, but the quarterback scrambles for almost the first down. So you want to see more contact in that drive phase route stem. All right. BS Penn, decent rep, cover 3 ISO side. All right. So I'm assuming I marked this as ISO side because the way he's opening up, you'd ideally, if they are on the bottom of the screen right here, he's going to open up inside and then funnel everything inside. But because he's on the ISO side, it becomes more of just straight up man coverage because he has no number 2 threat, no number 3 threat, anything like that. So obviously you can see too with this game is he's hindered a little bit by the club on his hand. So you could press. It's not as easy with the club. So you do give him that little bit of benefit of the doubt. But again, don't like his leverage in terms of being off. In that no man's land, I don't like this. This is more of a false step than a kick step. A kick step's more lateral, which would just kind of not negates, but it eliminates the false step where it's like this, or you have the jump split with both feet wide and out. You get on your heels and now you're off balance because your feet are too wide. But this is an actual false step. Gets right onto it. Well, unless he's planning on just bailing at the beginning, but I don't like that coverage. I get disguising it, but now your weight's onto your heels. So I don't love that initial phase. I like that his eyes don't fall for the stab inside by AJ Green right here. So it's good to see that he's on AJ Green and he has a decent rep. But so I like his patience right here with his eyes not falling for the inside. Opens up. Now my only problem with him not with backpedaling and opening up. Now I like the eyes part, but right now if this were like a diamond release or where you take like 3 steps outside, break inside, AJ Green can cut inside right here, like right at this point, 1, 2, if he's the plant right here, he's inside. But it doesn't happen. Quincy Wilson stays over the top. You see some hand fighting. Wilson gets his left hand onto the shoulder. Continued hand fighting, tracking his eyes. He's not looking back for the ball, which is good. And again, trying to get position over top of that inside arm, because if he is going to go for the ball, now with Quincy Wilson's hand over top of him, it's going to impede him going up. So good job trying to get your hand over the top right here. And somebody's like, oh, and somebody commented, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody. I'm here to just discuss. People, oh, well, you know, I hate when corners don't get their eyes back to the ball. I'm going to give him credit here for not getting his eyes back to the ball. When you are beat and he has a little bit, and obviously you're running full speed, and AJ Green's a little bit faster than Wilson. He's rocking my number, 31. You want to play through the ball. You want to play through the hands. You want to play through the triangle when they go to catch it. You want to punch through their hands, rip it out. You want to punch through the hands. You don't want to swipe at the ball. You want to cover their eyes, whatever you can do. But when you're beat, you don't want to look back to the ball, because you're going to lose the guy and it's going to go right over your head. You're not going to be able to either one, play the hands or tackle. That's the two things about playing through the wide receiver is obviously, you know, at the minimum, make the tackle. 2, you're not going to be able to play the ball if you're running full speed and beat. So you want to play the hands and the eyes, because you're not going to be in position to jump and intercept this. Like right here, he's obviously not, he wouldn't be in position. So I like that he's playing the hands. I like that he's trying to get his arm over the top. Once he sees AJ Green's hands go up for the ball, he dives and swat at the hands. There's a pass interference call. I think that's bullshit. I think it's complete bullshit. What is he supposed to do right here? This is not pass. I think they saw him jump and then both fall, when in reality, AJ Green dove for the ball. So bullshit penalty. Decent coverage overall on AJ Green right there from Wilson. Again, pretty soft call. 4, beaten man on fade attack. Yeah, they might have been attacking like this club right here, because this is man coverage. Now my problem here is there's a few things with his alignment. 1, you're in the red zone. There's a ton of traffic inside. Play with outside leverage. He is inside leverage right here. That's the first issue. Second issue, his feet are too wide. He's not in a position right here to react quickly either side to side. This is too wide. You want to see them about shoulder width. This is much farther. Now the third problem, his hands. Too low. You're not throwing anybody. Again, you want to see them almost like an offensive lineman. You want to see them nice and tight. You can shoot from, just like a boxer. Think about where a boxer's hands are. That's where you want them. His hands are too low. Third problem, I think he's a little bit too far off. But if he was actually, I'm not going to say that, because if he was outside, it would be a little bit better. But there's 3 initial problems right off the bat for me. So if I was his coach, this is what I would tell him. Again, I'm not, but. That is what it is. So the receiver literally just uses a hop step, a really slow hop step, and his hands aren't even ready for this. So in this scenario, see, I don't like the receiver here either. A good corner right here. Look at all this time, this dead time in this route that he could have jammed the shit out of him. Now, even if the receiver won this, so this is one of those plays where if I was watching this receiver's film and he wins this, I'd be like, okay, but not versus anybody good. To be honest, this is not a good play for Wilson. So he should have jammed them that entire time. Now I'm fine with the jam like this. Well, actually, I'm really not. The jam needs to be more aggressive. If you're going to step up like this and you're going to be off balance, now look how much he's widening out. You better make sure you jam the shit out of him with that hand. If you're going to be going this slow, he needs to hit him here. Now it's late. Now you open your hips. He's already trying to go outside. So now he's going to take that open hip, wipes your hand away, looks back to the ball. Easy catch. Way too easy on Wilson right there. Alignment, his alignment, the hands, the base, the press he tries to, where he should really, if he is stepping up like this, he should stab, get back to balance, shuffle. But it's just way too lackadaisical right here. And obviously, this is I think it's a little bit in slow motion, but not good press rep right there on the goal line. Again, a little bit of inconsistency. He's not going to be the Jets' first corner. He's not going to be the second corner. He's not going to be the third corner. He's probably not going to be the fourth corner. He might be the fifth or sixth guy. So just understand that. Now he offers some versatility that's interesting. Okay, so he's up top. He's in off coverage. Looks like they're playing a 3 buzz. And again, so you have the receiver who's stemming at you. If anything, you want to shoot a little bit outside and funnel stuff inside. He's a little bit too heads up to me, and he's heads up with his hips angled inside already. So for him to get back outside on this receiver, if he were to widen out, outbreak, he's gonna either have to make a really good hip turn or speed turn, and it's gonna be a difficult position. So he's already playing in a position where he's angling his hips off when he's too far to the inside. If you're gonna angle your hips off, be a little bit farther outside. So if he were to cut outside or try to get outside of you, you're already positioning yourself where you have the flexibility to get outside because you have the leverage advantage outside. But you can't be playing heads up and off coverage with your hips angled off like this because of exactly what happens. The receiver stems at him, stabs him inside, which looks like AJ Green. He's in a shitty position to try to get back outside because of, like I said, where his hips were pointed, and he falls down. Now, if the quarterback were to see this, if he stayed there for a second, he leads him right here and it's a touchdown. So, or it could be a touchdown. So you can see the receiver is clearly frustrated after that. He wanted the ball right there because, for good reason, because Quincy Wilson did not play that well up top. Again, there's going to be some good plays and bad plays. This is another bad play. Bad leverage, bottom cover 2. Okay, so too easy. This is another scenario where cover 2, he's playing curl to flat. They run a double ends Panther concept, you can call it. That's what I call it. And again, so initially their first rep we saw, or one of the first reps we saw, he was pressed more inside in the cover 2 because the guy was farther inside. Now he's too far outside. Look how far he's shooting in outside right here. You have help over the top. You have help inside, kind of. So you definitely want to funnel everything inside, reroute them. But you can't be playing this far outside. There's I don't know if he's looking back at the quarterback here. I don't know what's happening, but he's stemming upfield, and this is wide open grass. You have the 2 threat, who, if you're reading him too at the same time, if I get your peripheral vision, he's breaking inside. If he's breaking inside on a 2 receiver set right here, he's like your only threat. Just completely match him. So he's breaking inside, match him, and even if not, you have to get some type of hands on him. So he stays way too wide. AJ Green breaks inside. Freaking nice catch by AJ Green, but this is way too easy for him. I don't know why he hops outside and just lets him take the inside from him. That can't happen. So his leverage needs to be more consistent. Clearly, needs to have smooth feet, hands on. I think he's right here. He's in press on 85, which is Clay from 2018. It's a fumble. So I'm okay with this. Like, actually, what kind of defense is it though? It's like I don't know what kind of defense this is. It looks like he's in man coverage. I should have labeled that for myself, but I didn't. I'm okay with like the 2 LOS, like the angled off on the tight end. He's a little bit flexed out, but it's really forcing him inside this leverage that he's taking. So I'm okay with it. But it depends if it was more zone. If it's more man, I want to see more heads up. So the thing with this, though, is I don't like how much he opens his hips. Like, he completely opens his hips right here. You see how his hips are completely open? He's really giving this guy the Clay the inside. So he just has to get past 53's level and break inside of him to get open. Now, he has to obviously adjust his route stem because 53 kind of almost like hip checks him. But Quincy Wilson plays out a little bit too far over inside. And you see the good burst to get back over top of him. But you just see kind of like almost like clunky footwork right here. Like, his feet aren't really like very smooth right there. And he panics a little bit where, like I said, I would like to see him stay. I'm fine with lining up outside. I just don't want the hips to be as open as they are. If anything, take advantage of 53 and shuffle him inside and funnel him to 53. Now he gets he funnels him inside. Now he's jammed up by 53 and him, and he has nowhere to go. Now you're over the top, but he opens up to run deep too early. And the tight end if the quarterback were to see this, he can hit him right here. He could have been hit. So it was okay coverage. Now the ball is hit out, and Quincy Wilson is able to recover it and run back for a near touchdown, but he does not get back. So again, some things to fix. Good fumble recovery, good awareness there, but overall his coverage needs to be a little bit better there. Offhand jam, PI, squeeze. Okay, so I guess this was called a PI. So like Marcus likes the offhand jam. A little bit less of an exaggerated false step right here. He's in man coverage on Kelvin Benjamin. Again, so he's playing like more soft shoe, obviously, where he's going to get his shuffles in and then press. So this is a better rep for him, where his weight R's onto his heels, but he's a little bit more patient in opening his hips as the receiver is getting more to his level. So you can see he opens his hips, but now it'll be a little bit harder for him to cut underneath, especially with a bigger guy. Bigger guy, you have a little bit more flexibility with that stuff. Kelvin Benjamin's obviously big. So a little bit more patient here, a little bit more unbalanced. Even though his weight does go back, you can see his shoulders are still mostly over his toes. So a better job with that. Offhand jam, lands the offhand jam into the shoulder. Shows some decent length. Obviously, Benjamin's pushing back, but he's able to stay over the top. Offhand jam, runs with them deep. Benjamin wipes the hand away. Again, hand fighting. Good job getting the hand fighting. Now he's going to play through the ball and through the receiver. And he's going to go back and play the ball. Now, okay, so this wasn't a PI on Wilson. This should have been a PI on Benjamin. So he's in good position right here. He literally is hip to hip for him, looks back for the ball, and Benjamin clearly extends. You can see right here, pushes him off, which throws him into the, up the field onto his ass. And Benjamin catches it and looks okay. PFF, is this a bad play by Wilson? I don't think it's a bad play by Wilson. There's a clear PI there that he could have clearly, at this point, if he doesn't push off, played the ball. So not a bad play by Wilson. A push off by the receiver. I actually like that play overall from Wilson. So I'm gonna give that a plus on what from other sites is probably a negative. Cover 2, jam, shuffle. There we go. That's okay. So, again, the one thing I could criticize and I will criticize is, I would like to see him a little bit tighter. I don't know if this guy's off the line of scrimmage or on the line of scrimmage. I would like to see him a little bit choked up on him, because you can see he does get a little bit off balance, where like a really good receiver would stab him inside like this and then explode and chop through this outside arm to beat him. So that's a possibility here. So I would watch that. And then also with this, he has to be really careful with his hips inside like this and then shooting two hands on him. He's really, really locking his hips. But you can see at this point, he's not super on balance because his hips or his feet are a little bit too wide. So again, if he were to play a little bit more over the top of him, not over the top, but get a shuffle in instead of kind of just angling off like he was inside, he would have been in a better position right here to shuffle to the outside. But he still is able, again, I'm going to criticize a lot of stuff with corners and receivers, offensive linemen. Like those are the three things I enjoyed the most for, I think at least. Gets two hands on, widens with him, gets two hands on again, and pushes him out of bounds. After he pushes him out of bounds, turns, speed turn, find the ball, see if it's coming up to you, which it is. Now you got to make this interception 10 times out of 10. And hands are too wide, hits him in the face, but it leads to a pick for his teammates. So obviously you need to catch this. Like that's quite embarrassing, but that happens. So, but again, minus him angling off a little bit and getting a little bit too wide in his base. Good job getting hands on. You can see the physicality. You can see the strength. He's within that 5-yard window where you're allowed that contact. He takes advantage of it and throws a guy freaking out of bounds. Do it. That's what you want in cover 2. You want to throw guys out of bounds. So good job. I really like the like I said, the reroute, the hands on, and then as soon as he's pushing him outside, he's going out of bounds, and he knows that he's not going to be in position to catch this ball or break back, anything like that. He speed turns, finds that ball, and this should have been a pick. And I'm sure he would make that at least 9 out of 10 times. That was unfortunately that one time he did not. So it is what it is. 10. Man on tight end bottom, Moncrief touchdown. Yeah, Moncrief is the guy who tried out for the Jets. I don't know if they're going to sign him, but apparently he has no hands. That's why he's cut from the Panthers, cut from the Steelers. But 2018, he had like 700 yards. So okay, so he's on the okay. So he's right here. I was looking at Moncrief. He's right here, man on the tight end. He's playing with a little bit outside leverage. You have this like wide 9 right here, so he doesn't want to play too close and get his feet tripped up with him or anything like that. So he's playing with outside leverage. I'm okay with that. Tight end stems towards him, pretty patient with his hips, lunges towards him. So you have more of an aggressive pressure here, which I like. I want to see him be more aggressive because he has that physicality. Lunges towards him, gets hands on, stays over the top, hands on, and matches that stem. So again, this is more to show flexibility and his strength right here against a tight end to press him like he does to get hands on and stay over the top. So good job with that press right there on that tight end. Again, there's plenty of plays with corners and safeties that are good plays by them that you're not going to see them because typically if it is a good play by them, they're not going to get targeted. So it's a lot of plays like this that you're not going to see on highlight tapes and stuff like that because it's not a tackle or interception or a pass deflection or whatever, but there's plenty of good plays that happen like that you're not going to see. Most of them, I would say most of them are plays like that. Press, cover 2 bottom. He's right here. Looks like you're going to have like straight man pretty much where he's going to press the point, and then these guys are going to play first in, first out. That's at least what it looks like. Oh, they run this mesh. Jags run a lot of mesh. So, okay, this could have been just straight cover 3. Well, no, it was cover 2. Okay, yes, this is cover 2, wasn't man. So I lied at first. He's playing like in this like hook zone. He's the curl to flat. He's the hook. He's the hook to curl. He's the hook. I mean, he's a curl to flat. Deep 2 guys. So Wilson is matching his number 2 threat, which he's supposed to. Now, the thing with this is I would like to see his hands a little bit more ready for this contact. You see the receiver gets into his chest, but he's able to stay square. It doesn't affect him too much. Lets him pass by because now he's the 1 threat. Now he matches the 2. And now matches the 3. So it happens really quickly, but this is the 2 who becomes the 1, passes it off, matches now the so like if you think about it, like I said, this is the 3, this is the 2, this is the 1. He's responsible for the 2 right now. He gets hands on the 2, the 2 gets hands on him. Now both of these guys break inside. Now this is 32 responsibility. So he's going to pass that off, which is you're supposed to do in match principles. Passes that off, matches the 2 or gets on the 2, stays with him, and gets a reroute. So I like that. You see he gets hands on, sees this guy coming underneath in this mesh concept. Now jumps on him because he's now his most immediate threat with passing the 1 off to this guy. He should be matching him deep. He passed the other guy going vertical to his inside guy. So now this is going to be his responsibility because that's the only thing he has left to play. So he passed everything off properly, jumps down on it, doesn't go there. So quick processing right there and then underneath the zone. I like this play from him. Really, really, really. This doesn't look big, but this is a really nice play. Really, really nice. 3 guys he covered on that play. Not obviously, passed them off and stuff like that, but that was a good one for sure. I really like that. Cover 2 interception, where bottom. Okay. This is just a base cover 2, or it's actually Tampa 2. So outside leverage, obviously, curl to flat. That's what you want to be playing. Widens with the number 1, and they're just running like this like short haul concept, the vertical, and then you're gonna have the out, which would be cut short versus like a cover 2 type play. If this was like 3, he would probably run this a little bit farther upfield and cut it, but it's dependent on the defense. At least that's typically what it is. They obviously could have called it short from the jump, but I'm not in their playbook. So is that Derrick Henry at the bottom? This might be Derrick Henry. It might be. So he widens out with the number 1, gets hands on. I like the transition, left hand to right hand right here. You're going to see it. Left hand, right hand, stays square, reads the quarterback, sees the 2 threat again because you have to read 1 to 2. If the two's going to cut out, you have to jump that and let it go and then pass the 1 off to the deep guy. So he's aware, gets his hips back to the quarterback, sees the quarterback loading up to throw to his guy, gets underneath of it, boom, pick. Again, I like him in cover 2 type roles. We've seen a couple plays now of why I do. And again, cover 2, press man, if you just teach him to get his hands on a little bit more and be a little more consistent with his feet and his leverage in his hands. And man on tight ends. That's what I think he's going to be used mostly. I don't think you're seeing a lot of like cover 4, cover 3 type stuff for the Jets, but I can see why they traded the pick for him. He had some decent depth. Again, the Jets are weak at corner, but their depth's a lot better than last year. So transition in the hands, hip square, reads the quarterback, sees the him loading up to throw it to his guy, undercuts it, interception. Good play. 13, again, we're more than halfway done. Again, I told you these would be relatively short. Physical, he's on the bottom right here. Again, nothing huge, but they run just a quick smoke screen to number 17. He maintains his outside leverage, forcing him back inside, gets both hands on, jolts the receiver back, continues to maintain outside leverage because, again, if you're going to get beat anywhere as a corner on the outside, get beat inside. So he needs to be that contained player, that force player on the outside. Gets hands on, widens with the receiver. Receiver tries to stiff arm him. He gets under his pads and just tosses him to the sideline. So I really like he's an aggressive Gregg Williams, physical hitting type guy. So I think that's the roles. I discussed the roles they're going to use him. Some people are asking me questions about that. So that's the way I think he should be used personally. Just some guys like Pierre Desir, who's a little bit more versatile. There's a guy like Hall, who might be a little better in off 3 than 2. You know, there's only minimal differences between like guys' traits that make me feel they're more comfortable in different defenses because they're all good athletes, but it's the little stuff that matters. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play these guys because you have some guys like Wilson and McDougald who are good in man and press and stuff like that. But then you also have guys who aren't necessarily good in man and better in zone. And Gregg Williams runs more zone. But I think you're going to see more man from the Jets this year than you did last year. Just a little bit more. Not a ton more, but a little bit more. Again, physical stack outside. Lays a good shot on this the poor receiver right there. So I like the physicality of him at the minimum. So they have an aggressive defense. Top off coverage, jumpy. Okay, so he's right here, 10 yards off. So let's say you have a cover one like or funnel one where they're gonna. Or actually, let me see something. Yeah, it looks like one of these guys is man. One of these underneath linebackers is a man on the running back, and they just eventually pass off. Like he would be a man on him, and then he'd be man on the running back. But because the running back stays in the block, they're just going to pass this guy off. At least that's what it seems like. You have Wilson to the top, who's in man coverage on whoever this is. I don't know if it's like a late game situation because they're clearly playing it pretty soft. I like the initial back pedal right here from Wilson. He's over his toes. His feet he might be a little bit high in that, but you could see that he angles his hips off to run deep, 5 yards off, and the receiver cuts inside of him on the dig and is obviously wide open. He's not hit, but I would like to see more patience from him. Like, you know, if he is going to stem you outside, again, I talk about it all the time, weave, which is basically just moving laterally and getting deep, but while you're keeping your hips square. So it's more, instead of back pedal, you're more sidestepping. It's just adding an angle to your back pedal. So I like to see him weave right here. If he's in semi outside, weave, continue to gain depth. So it's not like, okay, you have to decide to open right now because you're going to weave. And if he is going to break outside of you, now you have the physical barrier of your body. So you don't have to open as early because you're going to stay over top of him, leverage him. So I think he's a little bit too jumpy with his feet right here. As you can see, he turns, the feet start crossing, the guy breaks inside of him, and he's wide open and beats him pretty badly, but the ball does not go his way. So you're going to see this, again, just watch the feet right here. He's a little bit impatient and opens up too soon right there. So I want to see a weave to maintain it, leverage, not open up to run deep like that. That's my criticism. 15. Bottom, cover 2 widens too much. Okay. So again, this is the one threat. The one becomes a two as the motion comes right here. So he's going to widen out a little bit with the new number one. Now again, I think he's a little bit too hoppy with his feet again, where he hops outside. Again, just maintain outside leverage, but just shuffle outside. There's no reason to hop outside, because if anything, you want to reroute. So, I'm okay with him playing off right here because these guys are tighter, so you want to guard against switch releases and things like that. But I don't want to see him turn his hips right here and just open up and just give him the inside. So I want to see better technique with his feet right here. If he does come towards you, run your feet, even get into a slight back pedal, more of a creep backwards, but don't just open your hips up, give him the inside easy, what should be a completion, but whoever 7 is sucks, because this should be a completion. I could hit this. I think 70% of my listeners should be able to hit this throw. And, I might have a Kyle Smith listening. No, I don't know, but listen, it's a 10-yard throw. Pretty wide open. So, with a pretty big window. But again, just needs to be a little more patient right there and understand that situation a little bit better. Bad angle from bottom. All right. So usually he's typically pretty good in the run game. They hit the running back on the screen right here. My thing with him is coming from the backside right here. You see how the angle's screwed up? Obviously the running back is going to be breaking to the outside and vertical. So if anything, higher angle. When you're coming from the backside like this, you don't want to try to make this huge play, because obviously a guy who I think this is Kenyon Drake, who has, is it Drake? I don't know if it is Drake. Was 32 Drake? I think it was. But if anything, take a higher angle. I get trying to lay the big shot, but this is so far away from you. By the time you catch up, just law of physics, if he's getting upfield right here, you have to take a high angle to cut him off. He gets inside. Wilson takes too low of an angle, and then look how he has to change his angle from flat to straight vertical, where, again, in football, you're taught to pursue from high, and keep that same angle. Now, if he was on this angle and he got beat, okay, he took a relatively good angle. He's got outran. But when you're going to take a bad angle like this, too aggressive of an angle, he could have potentially saved a touchdown right there if he took a better angle, as you can see. So not a good angle right there. As I said 4 times. 17 out of 24. Near interception, cover 3. Okay. Bottom right here. So he's matching anything vertical right here in this cover 3. The one cuts inside, so now the one's not his responsibility. Now he has to be aware of this guy who's going to break out. So that's going to be the curl to flat. So you have the curl to flat, the hook seam, the curl to flat. So the one cuts in, not his responsibility. This guy cuts short and out. That's the curl flat. Now anything vertical past that, because this is already matched, is going to be his responsibility. This guy's cutting out from the number 3 inside. So he's going to get depth. He reads the quarterback is throwing it and matches. The only thing I would like to see is you see how his eyes are on the quarterback, or I don't know if his eyes are on the quarterback, wherever they are right here. But they are inside. They're not looking back at the number 3, who becomes the number 1 on that out. I would like to see his eyes a little bit more active, because I think he tracks the ball right here. He doesn't necessarily track the receiver, but he does maintain. He does continue to get depth, which is good. So he continues to get depth, runs underneath of it, and almost gets the pick, but his other defender actually prohibits him. So he actually, like I said, does a good job tracking the ball. Again, maybe a little bit. He could be a little bit more aware of the number 3. He let the ball take him there, but not the receiver. Like I said, goes to catch this ball, and it looks like, so there's 2 things. You clearly see that the finger of 29, which is Hooker, I believe, right? Hooker changes the ball's trajectory right there. You see that? Just that little bit of a trajectory change. But it's on his fingertips. Now, maybe Wilson could bring it in. And he does a couple things, Hooker. He tries to play the ball too, which I get. You're supposed to play the ball right here because you don't know if Wilson's got his hand on it. Changes the ball trajectory, smacks him in the face, and then he pulls his arm down from getting the interception. He still almost got it, but he didn't because Hooker broke it up from him, which is pretty funny. He didn't do it on purpose. That's just how it kind of played out. 18 bottom man rep. Okay, this is on Moncrief. So it's a false step, but it's a little bit less of a false step. This is almost more like a kick step. Shoulders over toes. He's pretty unbalanced. Hips are square. Moncrief runs up on him, tries to give him a little crossover, or a little short stride to stab to the outside, break it inside. But he doesn't overreact. You see patient hips. He angles off a little bit to the outside, but he's able to break back inside. Again, relatively like fluid hips. Like he's a decent mover. His feet look a little bit clunky sometimes because of like technique, not necessarily because of limited athletic ability, in my opinion. So you can see right there, like that quick hip shift. 1-2. I like that hip shift. Gets hands on with the stem, breaks as he's breaking, and completely matches that route. So good job. All right. Man rep bottom right here. Man on might be Moncrief again. Again, pretty patient right there. I'm going to move this. Square. Now, with this, instead of, I think his feet are a little bit hoppy here. You see his feet they're a little bit clunky right there, and he opens up. Now, again, if he were to plant hard inside, get inside, like if this is an Amari Cooper who likes to do those diamond releases, like 3 steps outside, inside, like he could probably get beat inside here. But again, it's little criticisms. It's nothing huge right here. So if anything, I would like to see him a little bit less hoppy, get a shuffle in instead of opening up. So little stuff, but does widen, gets the offhand jam on. The receiver runs his double move like the stutter and go. He doesn't overreact to it because, again, play deep to short. If he beats you short for 5, 6, 7 yards, is what it is. Rally, make the tackle, live the fight another down. So he doesn't overreact to it, and he's not completely sold by it. Because like this delay, my problem with this route is give him the 1-2 and run. Don't delay at this point because you're not gonna run a stutter slant. Like I guess you could, but he doesn't really sell it too well. But Wilson does a good job staying over top of it. You see how he slows down with it, but then he sees him start to deep again, stays over the top and squeezes him to the sideline. So I like that he's starting from bottom of the numbers, relatively square, relatively patient. So some minor things he could fix. Offhand, doesn't fall for the stutter, continues to widen and gets him to the outside and squeezes him. So pretty solid. 5 plays left. Beat cover 3, not outside enough. Okay. So again, cover 3, you want to maintain your outside leverage unless you're like, well, he is kind of locked right here, but still. So I'd say ideally you still want to play outside leverage on cover 3 because, let's just say they were running like a Mills concept right here, and he was going to run a short in, then he can continue to get depth and read the Mills concept, whatever it may be, crease concept from the other side. So you want to open your hips in zone and be aware of other things. My thing with him here is he gets into the shuffle, which me and Marcus both don't like. But the issue comes here is it's not necessarily opening the shuffle because that's fine for cover 3. I'm okay with this. Once he starts to stemming to the outside and it's slight, he's not taking a hard path to the outside, but he is slightly stemming to the outside. You cannot let him attack this blind spot. So if he's going to start from near the bottom of numbers and just slowly get outside of you, you have to slowly get outside as well because you don't want him to attack the blind spot, which he attacks the blind spot. He's not sure where he is right now. He has no idea right now. So he lets him attack the blind spot by not widening. Runs the comeback and he catches it on him because Wilson has no idea he doesn't know the receiver's breaking until the ball is being thrown, which is too late. So if he were to stay outside and he had his peripheral vision on him, you'd see how his shoulders are down. You see his shoulders come up right there. That should tip you off. So he should start to gear down a little bit, breaks back to the ball, but he doesn't see that because he doesn't widen. 21 man rep. Obviously right here. again, so I would like to see him get hands on earlier in this rep, but I like his little bit of it. So you have like it is kind of, it's like a false kick step. It's like right in the middle of him. His weight go onto his heels, not too much, which I'm okay with. So the thing I'm going to criticize, so you guys are probably going to know by now, is, well, one, he hops back. I don't like the hop. And if you are going to press. Like again, you could it's hands, feet, eyes. So you could throw your hands first and aggressive press, and then match with your feet, or you could match them with your feet and then get hands on and soft press. So I'm okay with either press here, but you don't want to press and not get hands on. So he hops back, he stays square, he opens up with the guy, which, like, this isn't bad. It's just the slight things that make you good or good corners. Where at this point, false step, and if he's going to stem you outside a little bit right here, which he is, his hips are saying outside. Shuffle, hands on, and then he's going to widen your perimeter, going to press him out of bounds. Stabs inside, little crossover. Not that great of a move. Opens up with him, gets his hands on. The receiver pushes like this. Like, again, if corners can't push off or do whatever, this should not be allowed. You could see the clear extension right here, which throws Wilson back a little bit. Wilson, again, good job playing catch up, though. I like how his eyes aren't going back to the ball. There's guys whose eyes are going back to the ball right here, and again, somebody's like, oh, probably, or similar to the other rep, people are like, oh, I hate when people don't get their eyes back. You can't get your eyes back here. You can't. It's absolutely false. So, plays through the receiver's hands. The ball is not where the receiver expects it, which is, who is 17 on their team? Oh, it's Hearns. Okay, Alan Hearns, who was at the Dolphins this year. I think he opted out. So good job right there. Overall, I would say it's a good job. Again, some minor things you could fix. 22. Man rep bottom. Similar to a couple last plays we've seen. Again, a little bit too far off for my liking in no man's land. I would say it's a false step. You can see the false step. You see his weight really go onto his heels right here. That, you don't want that if you're playing in press. So a little bit of a false step, but does stay square. Receiver stems him, gets inside. Wilson matches, gets hands on, continues to stack him and work get physical in his stem. Like I said, is one of his strengths. Again, and now hands on, he feels him breaking, so he's going to break with him. His hand obviously helps slingshot himself inside. You see the right hand on the hip, and completely matches him. And 13's gallop, right? I think. So, again, little criticism at the jump, but good job staying square, open up inside, getting hands on, using your hand to slingshot yourself back inside with him, and he completely matches him. Squeeze offhand jam right here. Verse 85, who looks like a tight end. Again, you could play him on tight ends. He really can do it for sure. So he gets like half of a shuffle in. Opens up a little early again, playing a press out, getting necessarily, and he does get hands on. So it is more of a soft press. So he does get hands on. It's just after he opens up a little bit. Ideally, you want to see it after a shuffle and you're a little more square. But it is an offhand jam, so it's okay. Gets his left hand onto the shoulder. Left hand to the shoulder. Wipes it again. Left hand's going to try to go back onto the shoulder. He deflects it with the hand away. Plays through the ball now because he has the who is 85? Brown? I don't know who that is. It might have been a tight end. So, again, stays square. He stems him outside. He really widens out this tight end. Offhand jam. Hand fighting. Now that like ideally when he's looking back to the ball, he's a little bit more over the top. Like he's even right here. You ideally want to be a little bit angled off to the top, but he gets his hands on. Now, when Wilson looks back to the ball, he most likely does not find it. Like he goes high and tries to look for it, but he does not find it. So now it goes into oh shit mode. I can't see the ball. Where is it? And he tries to play through the hands. And then Brown, obviously, he grabs. He runs him out of bounds, which is a good thing. So this is not a PI in Wilson in the slightest. It's more on the receiver. But Good job hand fighting. Good job widening him. You can see how look how much he widens. Square, hands on, hands on. You see how much he's widening here just with the hands? Widen, widen. He continues to widen. Looks back for the ball. Oh shit, I can't find it. Goes to play through the hands, and he's already out of bounds right here, so it doesn't even matter. So good job. Good squeeze to the sideline. He choked that right off. Nice job. Last play. Wilson, cover 3, penalty soft. Okay, so I'm guessing it's a soft penalty. Gallup again. Okay, so starts off cover 3. He's maintaining his outside leverage. He goes to shuffle. Again, maybe play a little bit further outside. So if he does cut outside, you afford yourself a little bit more room to break outside. That's the only, I think it's a little bit too far over the top. And I want to see more smoothness in his feet. So they're a little bit hoppy. And you see his hands like widen, and they're not tight. The tighter your hands are, the tighter breaks you're going to make, the tighter cuts you're going to make. So I don't want to see the hands flopping around here and him be a little bit too, his helmet popping up and hoppy with his feet. So I want to see a little bit more consistency with that. Goes to run deep with Gallup, tries to get hands on. Gallup uses like a push by, transitions into the right hand to try to break outside of him. And I think Wilson, like overall, like he could fix some things, but good job dropping his weight into his break and getting his hips around. Again, for a guy who's 6'2", he makes pretty tight breaks. Now, the receiver trips like on himself. I don't think it's really Wilson interfering with him. If anything, he's trying to, the Gallup is trying to push him by right here. Wilson's not really doing anything to make the receiver off balance, but because the refs see that contact at the break point, even though they're not sure who it's from, they're going to give the benefit to the offense. Gallup trips, he matches it, gets hands on, and because he's so tight, he plays the ball and he undercuts it. That's a really good, like, again, there's some things to fix a little bit with the feet right here, but I really like from this point on, gets hands on, breaks, and you see his hand onto the hip, hand to the hip, hand to the hip. He doesn't even really slingshot. He just makes a really good break with him, but Gallup trips, so he's able to stay completely with him. And because he has that contact, because he's so close, now he can play the ball. Now, if Gallup had, a yard or two right here and he was playing through the ball like this, I would not like it. But because he has contact, now you can play through the ball because you could feel him flatten out. You can feel him take a high angle. You can feel him break, whatever it may be. So good job playing the ball. He sees the ball's trajectory, knows he can undercut it. Almost gets the pick, but it's a pass interference, which is bullshit. That's a bullshit. That's bullshit. So there's been 2-3 penalties in this game this review that were bullshit on Wilson. So that is it for that show. Again, pretty quick with these bottom of the roster guys. Inevitably, I'm going to finish Gore, and then they're going to sign Dante Moncrief. I'm going to do another review, but we only have 2 reviews left for players. And again, like I said, next show, which I'm recording right after this, is going to be 19 plays of Chris Hogan, the Jets' newest wide receiver. September the 2nd, which is a Wednesday. I don't know what day that is. That is Wednesday. So not this upcoming Wednesday, the next Wednesday, the 2nd, 6 p.m. YouTube. Go to Jets X Factor on YouTube, subscribe there, and then you'll get a notification. You'll at least turn your notifications on, or just mark it in your phone. Like I said, if you're doing nothing, it would really mean a lot. 6 p.m. Show up. Again, if you don't want to call in, you're nervous, or you just don't really like us enough to call in, type, hey, what do you think about this guy's fit in Gregg Williams' defense? Hey, what do you think is the best concept for this guy? Like, I'm fine with answering those questions on the fly. I like that stuff. So you could do that, or just to watch and interact with other people. Oh, I think Joe is too hard on this guy, whatever. And then if you want to call in, 818-794-7004. If we get good response, I'm going to try to do it more often than I do, where I do like probably 2-3 times a year, where it's like a mailbag, another mailbag, but I haven't done a call-in show in forever. So I would really, really enjoy that. So make sure you mark your calendar for that, and I will see you guys. I'm recording in another 2 minutes, but the show will probably come out whenever it does, but have a good one. Stay safe.